Things just took a shocking turn. More of the same, not going to get any easier on the Devils. Adjustments already in place. Multiple updates on that. Let's talk about it. Welcome in to Devils Digest. Feel free to click the subscribe button. Adjustments made for the Devils, kind of out of their hand. Head coach Sheldon Keefe, Brenden, Dillon, and Luke Hughes out for tonight's game 2. Cody Glass back in the lineup. Look, there's no way to put this lightly or make it sound good. Missing players on an already injured defense, just adding on to it, is not an ideal situation. You look at the players that are going to be missing. Your number one power play defenseman, a player who's had a breakout season, a player who adds offense to this defense where they really struggle at doing that. They don't create a ton of offense. Then you go over to Brenden Dillon. They brought him over during the offseason for one thing and one thing only. Get more physical. They wanted to be more physical. He provided that. He's good at it. You look at the time of year that they're playing right now, round 1 of the playoffs. It's the most physical time of year. You can go to all the other rounds, all the other regular season games, rivalry games. Round 1 of the playoffs is the most physical time of year. I mean, you go and look at game 1, Carolina right away set the tone. They were hitting. You get bringing a guy like Brenden Dillon to counter that. And both players out of the lineup. Luke Hughes and Brenden Dillon not playing tonight. It's clearly a big blow for the Devils. I mean, you look at the type of injuries that they've had to face this season. It's been a lot. At some point, it just turns to a point where it really, you kind of question, is this sustainable? How do you get through this? Well, I mean, that is Sheldon Keefe's decision to make, or, to figure out how to do that. We do have a little bit, kind of know what the lineup is going to look like tonight. These were the defensive pairings at practice, kind of figured that this is what it's going to be tonight. Top 4 in terms of personnel stays the same. Dennis Cholowski, Simon Nemec in the lineup tonight for New Jersey. Look, when you look at this, and you look at the players who came out, there's no replacing a Luke Hughes. Dynamic offense. He adds so much to this Devils team. And, you look at the rest of the lineup, a lot of these players really don't have that, same dynamic offensive presence that Luke Hughes does. Dougie Hamilton creates a lot of offense. He does it in a little bit of a different way. More so playing the probabilities, where Luke Hughes, it's more of like a skilled type of finesse type of game. So it's a little bit different. There's really no replacing Luke Hughes. As for Brenden Dillon, they wanted to get more physical. He was by far their most physical defenseman. Not going to be in the lineup tonight in a round where, it's the most physical time of the year. So Dennis Cholowski, Simon Nemec in the lineup tonight. Look, I completely, I understand what they're doing with Nemec here. They want to see him, give him a chance. They want to see what he can do. Games like this, rounds like this, you're really going to kind of see a lot from a player. What can he give you? He has the upside over most defensemen in the Devils system, the ones that are sitting. The upside is there with Nemec. So when you look at the lineup and you look at the type of situation, at some point you're betting on that upside. They want to see the upside with Simon Nemec. Does he have it? Can he bring it in this series? Obviously, it would be great for the Devils if he can. This is his time to do it. We know he's a second overall pick. Wasn't very happy being in the minors. Struggled when he was up this year. Well, like I said, with multiple Devils players, you can throw all that away if you play good this time of year. He'll definitely be looking to help make a statement and, get his name, back into the rotation. As for Dennis Cholowski, you pick him up at the deadline. Was kind of picked up to be the depth defenseman, 7th defenseman in situations like this where you get a little injured. That's why he's here. That was his role. And he enters lineup tonight. I will say, though, because kind of with my point to Simone Nemec. When you're bringing a player like Nemec, you're betting on the upside in games like this. When I look at them bringing Dennis Cholowski, and, he's going to be on that bottom pairing, I do question, why aren't we, giving Seamus Casey a chance here? I mean, Seamus Casey, out of those three, this season has shown the most upside, has been the most effective. You're in a series where, you're going to need that upside to come out, and you're going to need to score, and you're going to need to create, and you're going to need to, take advantage of your chances. At this point, Seamus Casey does it better than those three. I don't so much understand, or I guess I should say disagree with putting Cholowski into the lineup. I understand the fact that they want to make a little bit less mistakes. They want to be a little bit, someone with a little bit more experience. They feel a little bit more comfortable knowing what he's going to do rather than what can he do. And that's where I feel like, they're going with Dennis Cholowski. More so, I would probably go with Seamus Casey. Now, obviously, would I pair Seamus Casey and Simone Nemec together? No. But would I want to see both of those two in the lineup over a player like a Dennis Cholowski? Yeah, I would. I want to see that upside. I understand that, they feel they want to go a little bit more of what they know, a little bit less of the mistakes. Your defense needs to create more offense. Your defense needs more upside. You're going to have to figure out a way to, outsettle what Carolina did to you last game. I mean, they outshot you in the first period 17-5. Clearly, nothing really worked very well for the Devils. Their best period was by far the third period, and it wasn't like they dominated that period. Just they're going off 2 other periods where they really played really, really bad. I mean, that's at the end of the day, the storyline of this series so far. So when I look at that and trying to play it, a little bit more safer, and I don't know how much safer it really is, putting in Dennis Cholowski over a player like a Seamus Casey, I disagree with it. We'll see what happens tonight. Obviously, I'm hoping that Dennis Cholowski comes out and, proves me wrong. But I would have liked to have seen a player like a Seamus Casey, who's, so far when he's been in the lineup, he's been able to produce offense. He's been able to help out in the transitional game. This defense needs offense, even with Luke Hughes in the lineup. And now you're going to lose him, and now you're going to put in a player, who doesn't have really any offensive upside. Disagree with the decision. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, Simone Nemec going to get another chance. Hopefully, it works out for him. A lot of forward talk, or defenseman talk. Let's get some forward talk in, because, that's important too. So, Cody Glass, who looked like he might have been hurt. We didn't know how bad. He's going to be in the lineup tonight. Obviously he took the stick to Jacob Markstrom. I assumed it was a hand injury, finger injury, something along those lines. Didn't get, a complete evaluation. So I assume, obviously playoff time, maybe don't want to give it out. Don't want to give out everything. But, Cody Glass returning to the lineup tonight doesn't look like it's going to be long-term in that regard. Tomas Tatar checks in for Daniel Sprong. Look, I don't know what they're doing with Daniel Sprong. When they traded for him, I was kind of, I looked upside. He scored 20 goals before, and recently, I don't really understand their usage of him. I thought he's looked well in the games he's played. I thought he was one of the better players in Game 1. Maybe less to go off of out of there. But I thought he was one of the better players. I think he actually creates. I think he actually helps drive plays. A little interested to see why, he doesn't get as many chances as some of these other players do, and is the one who's the odd man out of the lineup. Tomas Tatar back in. Will be nice to see Tatar back in the lineup, though, because, a little bit older and maybe a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder. At least you're hoping for something like that. Out of Tomas Tatar tonight. Dowling on the fourth line. Look, Lazar was an option. They don't really, all season long, they haven't really known what they're going to do at fourth line center. And I still don't think they do. So, Justin Dowling gets into Game 2 tonight. look, obviously, game 2 tonight is a huge game. Carolina's won a bunch of games at home this year. We know that. They've struggled on the road. If they can get both games at home, it takes a lot of pressure off of them to go get one on the road or, get both on the road. Devils have to find a way to win this game tonight. I don't think it's a must win. I'm very big on the fact that the series isn't over till you win 4. But it's a game where you put yourself into a much better position. Going back home with a team in Carolina that struggles on the road, maybe you get a little bit healthier. Maybe Dillon and or Hughes are back for game 3. It's a big game tonight, obviously, and hopefully they can get the win tonight. Let me know down below, do you like what Sheldon Keefe did, bringing back in Dennis Cholowski and Simone Nemec? Would you have thought Casey over one of those two, or would you have just, brought Casey in general? Let me know down below in the comments. Hopefully you guys hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys real soon. All right, go Devils tonight.